Hey everyone, welcome back to your English class. As you all know, we are discussing the very first chapter of Moments titled as The Lost Child. We have already seen the very first part of this story in the previous class, in which we came to know about a child who goes to a fair with his parents and demands for so many things to buy, like sweets, toys, balloons, but his parents refuse him for everything. So let us see what we are about to read in the next part of the story. Students, story continues from this second last paragraph at page number 3. Okay, a snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket. So now the boy, he posed himself at a snake charmer who was playing a flute, and the snake had coiled itself in a basket. Okay, its head raised in a graceful bend like the neck of a swan, while the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. Rippling means here wave. Rippling means here wave. Okay, so now the snake had raised its head out and moved its neck gracefully like a swan. It seemed that the music of the flute was heard by the snake's invisible ears, and it created the effect of a waterfall on it because it swayed its neck in a similar way. Okay, the child went towards the snake charmer, but knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse music as the snake charmer played, he proceeded further. Forbidden means here disallowed. Forbidden means here disallowed. So the boy, he walked towards the snake charmer, but as his parents had warned him to remain away from the unpleasant music played by such men, so he walked further. Okay, there was a roundabout in full swing. Men, women, and children, carried away in a whirling motion, shrieked and cried with dizzy laughter. Whirling means here circling. It means circling. Shrieked means here cry. Shrieked means cry. Dizzy means here confusion. Dizzy means here confusion. So the boy, he saw the roundabout swing. It was, full of men, women, and children, and they all were enjoying the ride. The child watched them intently, and then he made a bold request. I want to go on to the roundabout, please, father and mother. Intently means here attentively. Intently means here attentively. So now the boy watched the people on the roundabout, and then with a lot of courage he expressed his desire to his parents to go on the roundabout. Students, turn the page to read further. There was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there. Ahead of him, he turned to look on either side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. So, when his parents didn't reply, he turned towards them. He saw that they were nowhere around. He looked around and behind, but his parents were nowhere to be seen. A full deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in real fear, Mother, Father. Jerk means here move. Jerk means here move. So the boy cried loudly, moved his body, and ran here and there, calling out for his parents. Tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. His flushed face was convulsed with fear. Fierce means here angry. Fierce means here angry. Convulsed, it means trembled with fear. Trembled with fear. So the boy, he was, full of anger, trembling with fear, and tears started rolling down his cheeks. Panic stricken, he ran to one side first, then to the other, hither and thither in all directions, knowing not where to go. Mother, father, he wailed. His yellow turban came untied, and his clothes became muddy. Hither and thither means here here and there. Okay, here and there. So as he was crying and running around to seek his parents, his turban opened and his clothes became muddy. Okay. Having run to and fro in a rage of running for a while, he stood defeated, his cries suppressed into sobs. Suppressed means here stop something from being seen. Stop something from being seen. Sobs means here weep. WEEP, weep. Okay, so the boy, he searched his parents for a while, but after some time he gave up. The loud cries of him turned into mild sobs. Okay, at little distances on the green grass, he could see through his filmy eyes men and women talking. Now he saw some people standing and talking at little distances on the green grass. He tried to look intently among the patches of the bright yellow cloths, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people, who seemed to laugh and talk just for the sake of laughing and talking. Intently, I already told you, it means attentively, carefully. Okay, so he tried, to find if his parents were among them, but he didn't find them there. And the laughter and talks of the people were meaningless for the child because he was simply searching for his parents. Okay, let's move on to the next paragraph. He ran quickly again, this time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. Every little inch of space here was congested with men. Shrine means temple. Shrine means temple. Congested means filled with. Congested means filled with. Okay, so the boy ran towards a temple which was, crowded with people, even every inch of space. But he ran through people's legs, his little sob lingering, mother, father. Okay, so as there was a huge crowd, still he managed to run through the legs of men, calling out for his parents. Near the entrance to the temple, however, the crowd became very thick. Men jostled each other, heavy men with flashing murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. Here, jostled means push. Jostled means pushed each other. Hefty means here large and heavy. Hefty means here large and heavy. Okay, so the crowd was pushing each other as he reached to the entrance of the temple, and the boy got scared. He got scared because of huge strong man who stared people with their murderous eyes and pushed them with their strong and big shoulders. Okay, next, the poor child struggled to thrust a way between their feet but knocked to and fro by their brutal movements. Thrust means here push. Thrust means here push. Knocked means hit. Brutal means harsh and rough. Harsh and rough. So the boy struggled to push his way, but he was hit down due to brutal movement of people. Okay, he might have been trampled underfoot had he not shrieked at the highest pitch of his voice, "Father, mother." Trampled means here crushed. Trampled means here crushed. So the boy could have been, crushed under the feet of the men if he had not shouted at his highest pitch, "Mother and father." A man in the surging crowd a man in the surging crowd heard his cry and, stooping with great difficulty, lifted him up in his arms. Surging means here powerful. Surging means here powerful. Stooping means here bending with difficulty. Bending with difficulty. Okay, so then a man then a man in the crowd heard his cry. He lifted the child up and tried to relax him. Okay. How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you? The man asked as he steered clear of the mass. The child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, I want my mother, I want my father. Steered means here came out. Steered means here came out. So, as the man got the child out of the crowd, he asked him how he had reached there and what were his parents' names. Upon hearing this, the boy started to cry even more bitterly and repeated that he wanted to go to his parents. Okay. The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. Will you have a ride on the horse? He gently asked as he approached the ring. The child's throat tore into a thousand shrill sobs and he only shouted, I want my mother, I want my father. So, soothe. Soothe means here relax, comfort. Soothe means here relax, comfort. So, here, the man tried to relax the child by taking him to the roundabout swing. He offered him a ride, but the child cried and screamed loudly that he wanted only his parents. Okay. Let's move on to the next paragraph given here at page number 5. Okay. The man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played on the flute to the swaying cobra. Here, headed means went ahead. Headed means went ahead. Swaying means swinging. Swaying means swinging. So here the man started walking back on the same route which the child had taken, and he took the child to the snake charmer. Where did he take him? He took him to the snake charmer. Listen to that nice music, child, he pleaded. But the child shut his ears with his fingers and shouted his double pitched strain, I want my mother, I want my father. Here, pleaded means requested. Pleaded means requested. So, here the man asked to the child to listen to the nice music being played by the snake charmer. But the child, he shut his ears with his fingers and screamed loudly that he wanted only his parents. Okay. The man took him near the balloons, thinking the bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. Here, distract. What does it mean? It means divert attention. Divert attention. So, here the man took the child to the bright colored balloons, hoping that, he might, get cheered by seeing them. Okay. Would you like a rainbow colored balloon? He persuasively asked. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and just sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. Persuasively means here making ready. Persuasively means here making ready. So, as the man offered a balloon to the child, but he turned away and wept for father and mother. Okay. The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller sat. Look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like a garland to put round your neck? Here, bore, it means carried. Bore, it means carried. So here the man tried, he was trying to make the child happy and took him to the flower seller. He asked him to smell, the fragrance of the flowers and offered him a garland. Students, turn the page to read further. The child turned his nose away from the basket and reiterated his sob, I want my mother, I want my father. Reiterated means here repeated. It means repeated. So, as the man offered the child a garland, He refused, to smell the flowers that he wanted to buy earlier, because now his priority was to get his parents. Okay? Let's see the last paragraph of this story. Thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. What sweets would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. Here, disconsolate means very unhappy and unable to be comforted. Very unhappy and unable to be comforted. So, here, finally, to change the mood of the child, the man took him to the sweetmeat seller and offered to buy sweets for him. Still, the child didn't want his favorite sweet but wanted his parents only. Okay? So, students, what message did you get from this story? Let me tell you, this story conveys the message that we should love our parents unconditionally, and being our well wisher, we should value the words and instructions of our parents.